All right, good morning. This is my informative speech for Communications 100. So let's get started. So today I will be doing the dynamic evolution of hip hop. The music genre known as hip hop, originating in the marginalized communities of the South Bronx in the 1970s, has undergone a complex and dynamic evolution, transforming from a localized youth movement into the single most consumed global musical and cultural force. To comprehensively understand this phenomenon, one must analyze the mechanisms of its cultural adaptation and commercialization across distinct historical areas. The history of hip hop is a powerful narrative of cultural innovation, evolving from marginalized street movement into a multifaceted global industry by constantly adapting its four foundational elements: DJing, MCing, breakdancing, and graffiti. This understanding is essential for comprehending contemporary global culture as the genre's influence pervades modern language, commerce, and art. The evolution of hip hop can be examined through four periods: the foundational era, the golden era, the bling era, and the contemporary digital and trap era. So let's start with the foundational era. Hip hop's inception was famously pinpointed on August 11th, 1973, at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. It was invented by DJ Kool Herc. And Herc invented the fundamental technique by using two turntables to isolate and endlessly loop instrumental sections known as breakbeats, typically sampled from soul and funk records, including a pivotal sample from James Brown's record. And he also had a partner known as Coke Rock, who was widely regarded as the first MC, moving from simply hyping the crowd to laying down rudimentary rhymes over the looped beats. This was also something that he claimed would be to help him boost his sales in weed. As documented by Trisha Rose in her critical work, Black Noise, Rap Music and Black Culture in Contemporary America, these early parties were vital for youth who lacked creative outlets, often replacing gang violence with competitive artistic expression. The remaining two elements quickly established themselves. Breakdancing became an athletic competitive dance to perform to breakbeats by known as B-boy and B-girls. And graffiti, used by artists like Taki183, served as a visual vocabulary for cultural expression and claiming public space. This era established blueprints for turntables, records, and record scratching, along with rapping. This genre's commercial journey began in 1979 with the release of the first rap record, Rapper's Delight, by Big Bank Hank, Master G, and Wonder Mike of the Sugar Hill Gang. And it was released under the first hip-hop record label, Sugar Hill Records, which was founded by Joe and Sylvia Robinson. And so now we move on to the golden era. In the 1980s and 1990s, it marked the golden era where hip-hop became a viable commercial genre that splintered into defining regional subgenres that are characterized by increased production sophistication. On the East Coast, producers like DJ Premier and artists like A Tribe Called Quest would invent a subgenre called boom bap. It was a style characterized by hard sampled drums and complex, dense lyrical content. Concurrently, there was development in the West Coast, led by producers like Dr. Dre. They had pioneered G-Funk, which was made by artists such as Snoop Dogg and Warren G. And it was a melodic style defined by slow grooves and synthesized bass lines derived heavily from Parliament Funkadelic, also known as P-Funk, samples. The regional distinction inevitably led to infamous East Coast versus West Coast rivalry. According to the rapper Ice Cube, a member of the NWA, the rivalry initially began as an industry conflict rooted in New York's defense of its decades-long throne against the emerging West Coast. This industry fueled an animosity tragically escalated, culminating in the losses of major artists such as Tupac, the Notorious B.I.G., and Big L. And also, one of the main reasons it started was that it was made by an artist called Tim Dog, who wrote the song Fuck Compton. Simultaneously, though, as it started to go further into the late 90s, the South had begun to make a movement of their own, creating a genre called Chopped and Screwed, which was, of course, invented by DJ Screw. And there was also an expansion from rising artists in the South, like Outkast. And so now we move on to the bling era. In the late 1990s, transitioning into the new millennium, the genre pivoted dynamically into the bling era, which focused heavily on conspicuous consumption driven by artists such as P. Diddy, DMX, Lil Wayne, Eminem, Common, and Kanye West. And so, as James Braxton Peterson emphasizes in A New American Vernacular, the global spread of hip-hop, this phase marketed a commercial peak where the aesthetic of wealth became the genre's primary global export. The regional diversification continued with Midwest stars like, of course, Kanye, Common, and Eminem, and the South finding recognition with groups like Outkast and producers like DJ Screw. The next major sonic shift came once again from the South with trap music, as it went later on. Originating in Atlanta, this sound is characterized by complex hi-hat patterns with heavy 808 basses. This shift accelerated the genre into the digital age, where instantaneous viral distribution through streaming platforms became paramount. A 2021 report from Nielsen Music cited by Billboard confirmed that hip-hop remains as the single most consumed music genre in the United States, feat driven almost entirely by the viral popularity of trap music. The current generation includes artists like Playboi Carti, Travis Scott, Denzel Curry, and Kendrick Lamar. And so leveraging social media and digital production tools to constantly remix and reform the genre, ensuring its continued relevance. So to conclude, the journey of hip-hop from its urgent revolutionary origins with DJ Kool Herc and Coke La Rock through its diversification into regional styles like boom bap and G-funk and its subsequent commercial pivots into the bling and trap era demonstrates an unparalleled capacity for adaptation. The initial act of isolating a beat was a revolutionary act that carved out a cultural identity for the dispossessed. As historian Todd Boyd argues in the new HNIC, The Death of Civil Rights and the Reign of Hip-Hop, quote, the genre has succeeded because it has constantly adapted while remaining authentically connected to the youth and the streets, establishing itself as an unstoppable global voice. Thank you. All right, and so really quick, I would like to give a few recommendations of some of my own hip-hop albums that I would love to give to everybody else. This really is just recommendations. This isn't for the speech. It's already done. So here we go. The first one I recommend is Illmatic by Nas. This was an incredible album from a very young kid. As a debut, he had been very unique with his samples, ranging from people such as the Ahmad Jamal Trio all the way up to Michael Jackson. The rhythm and flow are just unbelievable. Favorite track on there is The World Is Yours. The next one is something a little bit more modern. You know, it's from that boom bap I was talking about earlier. This is Cheat Codes by Black Thought and Danger Mouse. And for those that don't know, Black Thought is a member of The Roots. Incredible rapper. I think he's easily the best one out of that whole group. And then Danger Mouse is a very unique producer. He's been with people like MF Doom and Gorillaz. And I think my favorite one on this is probably Belize. But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, and it's an incredible record. It's something, a beautiful modern masterpiece. And the last one, in case any of you don't want to hear any swearing, or you also want to have some involvement from female rappers, look no further than the greatest. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill by Lauryn Hill. This was right after she left the Fugees. This was when she was and still is dating one of Bob Marley's sons, Rohan Marley. Just a very unique album, one of the best to ever do it, the only female rapper to be certified diamond. And my favorite song is the collaboration that she does with Carlos Santana. It's called To Zion. It's absolutely fascinating. Anyways, thank you so much. This was absolutely wonderful to work on, and have a good day.